All right. We are probably on the draw with Rug Delver. Yep, they chose to go first. We're going to keep this hand because we can get a Steam Vents and then cast a Serum Visions. So this is one of the better one-landers you could have. Of course, if they have turn 1 hand disruption, they'll probably hit this, but it looks like they don't. There is an argument to get a breeding pool off of the Serum Visions instead, in case we don't hit our second land, so that you can play the Hooting Mandrills, or maybe even if you're worried about drawing the basic mountain, or even one of the basic islands. But I don't think that's right, given that we have Thought Scour and probably a lot of chances to hit red removal. And really, if we're getting mana screwed, the decks we're worried about are the aggro decks, which we want red against. So I think it is correct to get the Steam Vents instead of a breeding pool. And we hit more lands, so we'll bottom the Steam Vents and then grab a forest off of that Misty. Possibly even just holding the Misty to scry with the Delver that we very well may play next turn. Them getting a basic is interesting. Oh, it's Hatebears. Okay. We can no longer use this fetch land. We're still going to play it, because we may as well hit our land drops. And I'm just going to drop that Delver. I'm going to need to draw a basic or a shock to get around the Arbiter. Need more mana before we can fetch. Of course, that's another nice point in the favor of getting the Steam Vents. If we draw a Lightning Bolt, we no longer need a land. So we have 7, if you include Dismember, spells that deal with the Arbiter quite nicely. Technically, we can also Vapor Snag it to get a 1-turn reprieve. So we have 8 spells that get around it. Thalia makes it so that we can't cast those spells, so that's pretty funny. We are not going to do that, and we can't even fetch to scry it away. Oh, jeez. That's pretty bad. Yeah. We could have Thought Scoured it in hindsight, which probably was better. Of course, Spell Snare is very live in this matchup. They're called Hatebears because a bear is traditionally a 2-mana 2/2. So they do have plenty of 2-mana things for us to snare. So it's possible holding up the snare is actually better, but I didn't consider that when I clicked done to pass priority. So I can't really say that I thought of it. We are going to Thought Scour now. We're probably just in awful shape because they have 4 mana. Oh, I can't Thought Scour. Okay, I forgot about Thalia. Oh geez. We will reveal that, because we're hoping to trade with the Arbiter if it attacks. It's almost never going to attack. I believe we lost this game. It seems highly likely. We're going to discard a Goyf. Coco. I'm actually considering discarding Mandrills instead. Because if we do draw a green source, we can slam the Goyf, but we can't slam Mandrills. Of course, we have plenty of Goyfs, but still, I think that's relevant. They ghost quartered our Steam Vents. Well, shit. I mean, hey, when you have it, you have it. When I have a clock and just go to town countering things and removing creatures, I don't generally feel bad. So, hey, I can't blame them. It does suck to be on this end of it. Now we will probably discard the Goyf. We have plenty of them. And it's kind of unlikely that we play even one, so they are forcing blocks here. Of course, I suspect a Restoration Angel. I like blocking the Leonin Arbiter, but if we don't block the Flicker Wisp, we're dead. I think we're just straight dead. I don't think I have any more relevant decisions. That's a Coco. Collected Company Hatebears is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was also an awful Collected Company. They did get back Collected Company, but I mean... So yeah, we're just going to scoop. Go to game 2. Hopefully I mean, turn 2 Leonin Arbiter on the play is just amazing against any fetch land deck that doesn't immediately have an answer. So there's that. Cards that are good against Hatebears include Pyroclasm, which sweeps away their entire board. I could see Engineered Explosives coming in. I've never played it against them because I'm still fairly new to explosives. But I could see that being good, although it seems extremely slow. And they're playing green-white Hatebears. Coco was the green. It's entirely possible they have Kasali Pride Mage. So even if I invest my 2 mana into explosives, I probably don't have another 2 mana to do it right away, and then they can just kill it. So that's bad. I don't think I want to be on Blood Moon here because they're likely to have a lot of basic lands. They're playing Leonin Arbiter, so I think they're going to go for that kind of thing. I doubt they're going to have a lot of fetches, but of course, if they don't have a lot of fetches, Blood Moon is good. But then again, I need to do a lot of fetching for Blood Moon to be good at all, so if they can get any sort of way to hinder my mana base with Ghost Quarters or Arbiter, we're going to have a lot of trouble with Blood Moon. Thalia also delays it to turn 4 at the earliest, so I think it's actually kind of bad. Huntmaster's amazing. Huntmaster is a creature spell. If they do hit our mana base like they did last time, we won't be able to cast it, but of course it's kind of unlikely that they'll be able to do that. Given that we saw Collected Company, I don't think they're going to play Aether Vial because decks usually play one or the other. I kind of like Traverse because it helps get lands, but once again I'm wary of the Arbiter. Of course, that was a game where we didn't draw any of our removal on time, so it's possible that was the deal. I don't think I want to dump the Shoals. I don't like Simic Charm, though. I also don't like Vapor Snag. They do have a lot of 2 mana threats, so I think Spell Snare is going to be good. I'll cut at least 1 Stubborn Denial and probably a Mana Leak. I want to try to trim down and just go for threats and removal. I do want to be able to Shoal, because I think it's going to be very helpful. I want this Snapcaster Mage. I have 19 seconds to remove at least 1 card, and consider adding Traverses. I think I'm just going to cut 1 Disrupting Shoal. Like I said, we don't want too many counters, and if we lose too many cards to Disrupting Shoal, we're going to be in a world of hurt. So I think we're going to do that. We also cut at least a few 2 CMC blue cards and a 1 CMC 1. So we don't have too much of that. I'm going to keep this hand. Yeah. They won't be able to Arbiter us out of the game. We're going to have a fast Goyf. They can path it if they like, but that's going to ramp us into Huntmaster. I don't think we play this Traverse right away. For one, we already have 2 lands. And number 2, if they do have Aether Vial in their deck, we can Stubborn Denial it. Noble Hierarch is not a card that we can Stubborn Denial. That's going to resolve, and I think we're just going to get a non-basic. Probably the Stomping Ground. We'll go Stomping Ground Island off of the Scalding Tarn and slam Z-Tarmogoyf. We could theoretically hold up Spell Snare while also traversing the Ulvenwald, though, and that helps us with Huntmaster, so I like that a lot. Oh, but they have a Hierarch? No. I think it's highly likely they play a 2 CMC spell. So we're going to do this. We can at least pretend we're going... we can just get a Breeding Pool. I don't think our life total is in that much danger, so we're just going to get a basic island for now, and probably get a Breeding Pool off of the Scalding Tarn. There's the Arbiter. That's being responded to very happily. Let's get a Breeding Pool, and let's Spell Snare it. That 2 CMC card. After the last game, that feels very good. Okay, so we have most of what we need. We can shoal a path, which is quite excellent. And I'm just gonna play this Tarmogoyf. We can also denial a path. We can even denial a collected company if that's their jam. Speaking of which, if they play a land, ooh, rest in peace. We're going to stubborn denial that. That grows the Tarmok. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I'll get a basic forest. We didn't have enough blue cards to counter both. That's fine. We hit a land, so we can actually go Huntmaster plus Hooting Mandrills, which is probably devastating. I think it's pretty devastating. I am wary about getting the basic mountain, though, due to the Ghost Quarter. If they don't have another Leonin Arbiter soon, that Ghost Quarter can be played around by keeping the mountain in the deck, so they can't get us off of red. So I think we actually go down to 13 and get a Steam Vents. I'm going to play Huntmaster first. 2, 3, 4. We're going to leave up Breeding Pool and then use the Breeding Pool immediately. We are officially on the tempo plan, or rather the beatdown plan. I'd say we're now the beatdown. They probably know we have Snapcaster Mage in our deck, so I think Stubborn Denial is the best card in our graveyard right now. Second Path to Exile is very annoying. They might even have a third. I am going to get out. It doesn't really matter at this point which basic I get. Well, they didn't have the third, but if they hit an Eternal Witness, okay, that's fine. That's not so scary. And Serum Visions is great. We also have a lot of blue mana now. We have enough lands to counter a Collected Company. I don't think that's the line we want to go with. I like Serum Visions. And we hit a Tarmogoyf plus a Delver and a Lightning Bolt. I like the Bolt more than the Delver, but I think I still like the Delver. No. We're going to get rid of the Delver, keep the Bolt on top, attack with Hoots. They can get rid of it if they like, but it's going to cost them their Collected Company and 1 life. Instead, they just take 4. And we're going to play this Goyf. 1, 2, while holding up Disrupting Shoal for any Path to Exiles that they might like. It's also very relevant now that we did not fetch out the basic island, because if they do decide to Ghost Quarter a blue source, they have Leonin Arbiter. We cannot get our blue source back. We're going to take some damage. That's totally okay. Because we have Lightning Bolt on top of our library. No more Mind Sensor. Let's get that out of here. We also have a pretty good clock. That's 2 turns. It's faster than theirs. I'm just going to hold on to this Disrupting Shoal. And let's end step so that we're not just wasting a bunch of time here. They have no cards in their hand. I wonder if that Hierarch's relevant. I think we're just going to hold on to the Shoal. I don't think that Hierarch is relevant. They can make Arbiter a 4/4 with the Township. I don't think that scares me. If he trades Arbiter for Mandrills, he just loses Arbiter. And given that my board's better than his, I'm going to say we want to close this game. Looks like he wants to chump and trade. That's fine. Yep. Um, him having Gavany Township actually makes me kind of wary of letting this resolve, and if he does have to chump with this mana dork, he doesn't have enough to pay for mana leak. If we don't want to pay alternative costs, x equals 2. That one, 1, 2, 3, 4. If he has to chump with this hierarch and then draws a collected company, we can mana leak the Coco. So I think Disrupting Shoal is pretty good there. I believe his only out is a Path to Exile, and we have a lot of outs if he does draw that Path to Exile. So that's not bad. I should have left blue up. Okay, we did not get extraordinarily punished. Misty Rainforest does a whole lot of nothing, so we're not going to do anything with it. I will attack. I don't think I attack with the wolf. If he chumps, we're in pretty good shape. If he doesn't chump, he's in bolt range. That first game was extremely one-sided, but I think this one has been a lot more interesting, to say the least. And of course, that's besides the fact that I'm winning. I do enjoy games that I lose if they're good games. They are probably considering whether, yeah, they are considering whether or not they want to jump. Because we're literally in the step where they choose whether or not they want to jump. I don't think keeping that hierarch around helps our opponent, though. I can't think of any top decks where they want the 7th mana. Of course, like I said with the Tesserator game that we didn't play, that I didn't post because I kept disconnecting, I don't play the guy's deck, so I don't actually know. If he knew that I had Tarfire, I'd say I don't like that fetch there, but I guess they didn't draw anything good, and that put them into range of the Wolf token. So Disrupting Shoal ended up being at the very least decent that game. We are on the draw, which is going to make Mana Leak a lot worse, and probably make Disrupting Shoal even better for dealing with Arbiters and Thalias. Those are really the cards that get us. So I want to be able to shoal for 2 as much as possible without having too many leaks and Simic Charms in the deck. Unfortunately, Leak and Simic Charm are some of my only 2s. We have 3 plus the shoal, so it's not very likely that we're shoaling for 2 here. So I don't know if we should even be on the shoal plan at all. I like Snare, and I think Bolt, Tarfire, and at least 1 Dismember are good. Another reason I like Dismember is it deals with Restoration Angel very nicely, which is a card I would not be surprised to see with all the things they can do with blinking. Particularly the fact that if you blink a Leonin Arbiter, you make the guy pay 2 mana again. So if on any particular turn we need to fetch and they have Arbiter and Restoration Angel in their hand, we basically lost. Because it's pretty unlikely we're going to have the 4 mana plus the fetch. I don't think shoal for 1 is overly important. So I could see trimming Thought Scours. I very much like not having many Traverse the Ulvenwalds in our deck. They have Arbiter, which turns it off, and they also have Rest in Peace, which I'm sure they're going all in on. That does hurt Goyf, but there's not a lot you can do about that. Now that we've seen Rest in Peace, I think I like Destructive Revelry, and I might even bring in an engineered explosives, but we have to hit 4 mana, or at least 2 mana over 2 turns to do it, to get rid of the rest in peace. And I'm worried about going too far into the kind of plan where I need a lot of mana, because of what happened in game 1. We have 63 cards here. I don't think I like Ancient Grudge because we haven't seen Aether Vial yet. So that, combined with the fact that they're running Coco, makes me think they don't have it. Maybe I cut another Denial, but Denial's pretty good too. And it deals with Rest in Peace. Yeah, you know what? We're going to hope we counter the Rest in Peace if it shows up. I need to cut 2 more cards. I do... you know what? They probably only have the 1 target for Revelry. We're not even going to play it. Thought Scour seems good, though. I need to cut a card. Yeah, it's just going to be a Thought Scour, honestly. I think that's the best we can do. We brought in a Shoal and took out a Thought Scour because I think shoaling for 2 is slightly more important than shoaling for 1. Even though we didn't bring in Mana Leak and Simic Charm, those cards are kind of bad in this matchup. So I don't think I want too many of them, because if I have those, but I don't have my Shoal, can't shoal for 2 if you don't have a Shoal, and now you have a card that's probably not very good in the matchup. Spell Snare, on the other hand, is an MVP here. This is actually, Hatebears is a pretty good reason to go in Snare's favor on the Snare Shoal split. According to the Xmage log, their library has not been shuffled yet, so I don't think we're actually waiting on them. Excuse me, I think we're waiting on either their connection, our connection, or the server. We have a hand. I don't think we want it, honestly. Going in the blind, I definitely would not keep this, and knowing we're against that deck, I think that is just far too greedy. I would much rather have the 2 shock hand. I love this. This is great. I don't want that, though. We already have 3 counter spells. Turn 1, we're probably going to shock pass. I would rather use the Spell Snare to counter their 2-drop than Shoal Mana Leak. That changes things very much. Instead of shock pass, we can shock visions and then theoretically shoal something, which could be good. Shoaling after a Malta 6 is technically a Malta 5. And we don't have anything, but hopefully that Serum Visions is going to get us plenty of gas. So you know what? We are going to do it. I don't know what they're doing, but I am interested. No, they just want to... They're just busting my balls. Thought Scour could be good, especially if we get a Mandrills. I don't know if we want it, and I probably do want to fetch next turn. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep the Thought Scour, and we're going to end step because we have very relevant things to be doing on their turn. We have a Disrupting Shoal and a Mana Leak. I would say that is worth it. I'm going to Disrupting Shoal. I will pay alternative costs. I will target this spell, and I will exile this card. Okay. I'm not going to fetch yet. I like playing it and just passing the turn. They can't instant speed Arbiter me, so I don't mind not fetching right away. If they had a Vial on 2, that would be much more relevant. But with Vial on 2, I crack this, they Vial in Arbiter. I now have to pay 2 or lose my land. Loxodon Smiter is going to be really bad for us. It's going to resolve. I'm going to fetch out a Stomping Ground onto the battlefield tapped. We are definitely not the beatdown right now, and we're going to Thought Scour ourselves. Bolt does not deal with that guy. 2 bolts do. 2 bolts do, and we do have double red. We milled that forest. I was considering fetching forest and then Thought Scouring on our main phase, if the plan was to get out a Hooting Mandrills, because I figured if we want to go aggressive, we're going to want to conserve our life total, and you would want to fetch the forest before the Thought Scour because of this very scenario. But because I don't think I want that, I'm pretty okay with this. I'm just going to play Breeding Pool tapped. I think we just take some lumps. We have land instant sorcery, but unfortunately Delirium is not on. So we're just going to pass the turn. I think, unless we draw a Huntmaster, or rather until we draw Huntmaster, I think our best bet is to hold on to this Traverse, in case they don't have the Graveyard Hate. Alright, well, Thalia is going to be Lightning Bolted. Scavenging Ooze is unfortunately going to resolve. We're going to have to Lightning Bolt both of these instead of using the Spell Snare. Bolt there. Hey, that. She dies. Scooz resolves. Okay, we are in at least a lot of trouble due to that Smiter. I'm going to Bolt Scooz, and I actually think we're going to use this Traverse now, because the Ghost Quarter can't keep us off of 4 mana, and pretty much I'm praying to draw one of the Huntmasters. Dismember also theoretically does it, but not praying for Dismember as heavily due to the fact that Dismember comes with the side effect of losing 4 life, so you're basically taking another hit off of the Smiter. I do think we played our best. Blade Splicer cannot be interacted with currently. Oh, how we need Huntmaster. Okay, well that could theoretically find us a Huntmaster. We won't be able to play it right away. Hey, look at that! Huntmaster. Pyroclasm's not even good, but because we have so much nothing to do, I think I actually use it. And I definitely want both of these, but I'm considering which one's first. We're going to take 7 damage next turn. So we're going to keep the Huntmaster on top. We're going to cut it down to 7 by Pyroclasming. Deal with that Blade Splicer. Unfortunately, the Golem also survives, but we are doing our best to not die, so that's what we have to do. We take this. Hopefully they don't have a creature. They have a flyer. Well, we're going to go to 1. We're going to go to 1. We cast Huntmaster. If they have nothing in their hand, then very soon we will be able to shoot the Flicker Wisp down. They have an Arbiter, that's a card. So, yeah, I believe we're just straight dead. That happens. I actually don't think the Tarmogoyf saves us, so we're going to accept the... Actually, I don't think we even get the shuffle trigger. We're going to click the yes, just in case. Yeah, it still gets shuffled. Okay. I think our out... No, we're just dead if we don't block with Huntmaster. We're just dead, unfortunately. We don't get an out at this point. We had outs. I think we played to them. We didn't find him, though. He's going to strip me of quite a bit of mana. I guess that's fun. I mean, hey, he's playing to the fact that I could theoretically have something good, so he's not wrong. I just don't think it really matters at all. And, do I even... Well, I'll do my chumping. I'll chump. And, well, we hit a Misty. He can go. And we are dead, so... GG's, opponent. It's identical to my last message, so I can't say GG's. Xmage is kind of dumb with their new censor thing. I guess they're trying to filter out spam, but you can't GG's twice in a row. And they're gone before I could just GG without the S for plural. So, that was a pretty good game. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that, even though We did lose in the end, and it didn't end up being too close, but I think we had a lot of outs during that game, so I'm pretty okay with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did, and I hope to see you for the next one.